Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hello and welcome to Business Line podcast. I'm S. Ronendra Singh, and today we are going to talk about the luxury cars market in India. The year 2023 was the best year for the luxury cars market in India, growing by 20% year on year with around 46,000 units. And before this, the highest ever sales of luxury cars in the Indian market was recorded in 2018 with around 41,000 units. Although it was an all-time high in 2024, but still remains to be a little over 1% in the overall car market in India. In 2024, the luxury car makers expect the momentum, and if not by 20%, they expect the industry to grow by a double-digit growth. In this episode, we speak to Balbir Singh Dhillon, head of Audi India, who shares his thoughts on the luxury cars market in India, the opportunities, challenges, and the way ahead. Audi India's sales grew 89% year on year to 7,931 units in 2023 calendar year.
For this year, what are the expectations?
So, 2023, I think, was a very good year for an industry. Not only did the luxury space grow by 20%, but it was also all-time high. Of course, still it remains to be, let's say, little over 1% of the overall car segment. But I think we are in the right direction. And this year also, we believe industry will continue to grow. May not be to 20%, but maybe in the range of, let's say, 10-12%. And to that extent, we also expect our sales to grow. Of course, we do some challenges, like I mentioned, about supply chain for this quarter. Suddenly, because of this Red Sea situation, that the containers need to be rerouted, and that puts a challenge of production for 2 to 6 weeks. So to that extent, we will have less cars to sell. But I hope that we recover this subsequently and no more problems come. But prediction is a big challenge now. It's difficult to predict the whole year. I can only predict a quarter at the most. We are in a very new world. Something or the other is happening around. Sometimes it puts these kind of challenges where production becomes at risk. Sometimes the cost gets escalated because of multiple reasons, because of shipment cost or because of the material cost going up, metals prices changing. So dynamic world.
Yeah. So this shipment is only for you or for the industry, this rerouting part?
I think most of the industry, it would be especially for the luxury space, because a lot of material, there is a lot of dependency for everybody in the supply chain overall. More in luxury space, less in volume.
So we already have a high base here. So you said 10 to 12% growth.
Correct.
Over and above that also this year.
Correct. Because, I do believe that we will grow to that extent.
But going forward, do we see similar kind of growth ever in future, or you think this trend will continue for over next 4 years?
I think the Indian economy is destined to grow, let's say 7% in the next coming decade. And I believe this kind of growth will continue to give us impetus to grow every year. Unless there is something which we are not able to predict right now. But with the way current things are, I think we will continue. We are one of the shining markets globally. And we will continue to.
And for Audi India, what are the kind of, customer, this thing you have? In the sense like age group, what is the trend? Like, is it getting younger? Last year it was 35 to 40 years, I think, the age group.
So,
first time buyers.
See, most of our customers, let's say large section of our customers still are younger. Like I said, 42% of our customers are below 40 and 58% customers are below 50. So there is definitely a younger customers that we attract towards Audi. This, I am hopeful, will further strengthen in the coming years. And we continue to garner a love of our customers in the younger population. A large part of our cars, that one trend which has changed from last couple of years, definitely I can tell you, is that, let's say 5-7 years back, most large section of our cars were being sold to business community. But last 5-7 years, a lot of buying is also happening in the professional segment, like doctors, lawyers, chartered accountants. And then CEOs of bigger organization or employees of large corporates. So there is a lot of change that has happened, which was, if you see 5-7 years back, real estate community was one of the big buyers. But when real estate went down, it also went down. Again, now real estate is doing well. So there is a repurchase happening in that segment as well. Not just the one who are big real estate, but also people who are in the smaller cities, builders or traders who deal in real estate. So there is a lot of movement happening across the industry. So I think this is all, you see the stock market today at peak. So I think wealth creation happening in multiple verticals definitely will continue to help us in the coming years as well.
So to grow your sales, you said you're tying up with corporates also, but you're limiting to only 1 or 2 years. Why so? Why not more tie up with more companies so that you get more sales?
So there are multiple layers. We have 3 layers of tie-ups. So we have this gold program, we have silver program, and we have bronze program. So the gold programs, we have tied up with 20 corporates, not 2. Then there is a silver program where there are more corporates. And then there is a bronze program which is run by our network at a dealership. So they also have tie-up at the local level. So this is a 3-layered program. And depending on how many cars are bought by the particular corporate, that keeps on getting into the next level. So there is a large number of corporates which are at the bottom end of the pyramid, which is done by our dealerships across the country because they need local tie-ups. Then there is silver level, then there is a bronze gold level. So there are a lot of corporates that we deal with, not just few.
So this 20 is only for gold you were talking about?
Only gold.
Gold, okay.
So gold is a minimum threshold that they each year, or they have a potential. Either they already buy, let's say 100 cars plus, or they have a potential that in next 2 to 3 years they will reach that level. So that's how we define.
What about silver?
Silver is one category below where purchasing could be, let's say, between 10 to 20 cars in a year.
Okay.
So depending upon the potential of a corporate, then we define the benefits that we...
So the big 4 IT companies, are they part of this?
Some of them are definitely, yeah.
Because yearly they give some, incentives and all also, some of them.
IT companies, then you have banks, then you have also big 4, the consulting firms. Then we also have some global companies who have large operations in India. They're also like Boeing, for an example, and these kind of companies. So there are various segment of corporates that we deal with through either of the 3 programs.
So what is the lineup like this year? How many models will you be launching?
This I will not share.
Numbers.
This will share as close to the launch.
Last year, how many were there?
So we had Q3 Sportback we had launched, then we had Q8 e-tron and the Q8 e-tron Sportback, and then we had some limited edition, 3 limited edition S5, then we had Q8 and one more model we had limited edition launch. So 3 limited edition and 3 models. So we had 6 launches last year.
So for this year, what will be your this thing on EV plan? I mean, will you be launching price equivalent to the ICE vehicles, or just like what BMW is doing? What will be your focus like in the EV segment?
So focus continues. I will not be able to share more details right now, but we are working also on new products that will be available globally, and some of them will also make into India this year or next year. Depends upon when they are available globally, we will also get them. But of course, in the pyramid, we are only sitting at the top in terms of pricing, 1.2 crores and above.
Right.
We also need to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And then, so there are 3 levels. Right now is the top end. Then we need to get into below 1 crore as an FBO. Then obviously, whenever it is decided to make also the cars locally, then we will also bring down the price points. So these are the 3, let's say, structures in the price point strategy. Right now, we are only addressing the top one.
Yeah.
We need to get in the middle one and the bottom to address the wider section of potential buyers.
Yeah. So when will you bring them as a semi-knockdown or kind of assembled?
This is not yet decided. Once we have the decisions happening, we will share. As of now, it is still a work in progress.
Anything from the government that you would urge? I mean, as budget is also coming, of course, it's gonna be a election year budget. So, anything?
You know, this budget. So most of the topics are addressed in the GST Council now in terms of taxation. The GST is in GST Council, not part of the budget anymore. But of course, import duties are a past part of budget. I think we've come a long way that we've been asking for many things. The time is, now I think always we are saying that whatever government does, we have to comply and we will comply, but as long as it's a level playing field for all the manufacturers. So that's it. We just need, let's say, stable policy regime so that we know the policies for next 3 to 5 to 10 years so that we can plan our business, because the planning cycles are longer.
Right.
So that's all.
But there are various reports around Tesla coming to India and maybe government favoring them. So what will be yours take on that?
Tesla coming to India is, I think, the more the merrier. I believe that the more manufacturers come into electric mobility, so the more the merrier, because everybody will help in setting up more infrastructure of charging. So that I think should help everybody and grow the industry. And of course, this brings more competition, and competition is always good for the customer. They will be able to fetch the benefits. In terms of benefits to Tesla, again, like I said, I think level playing field is what all we expect. That all should have the same possibility to grow, and I'm sure government will be mindful of this.
So what will be your production capacity look like this year? What was last year?
So, let's say almost 90% of the cars that we sell in India, like whatever 8,000 cars we sold, 90% of them are produced locally. About 10% is what we import completely. Our production capacity is sufficient for next couple of years. We have invested enough to create sufficient production capacity at Aurangabad plant. So we don't need to, let's say, invest anything further unless we move into electrification where we need to set up new lines. That will be the time when we need to do more. Otherwise, for the time being, our production capacity is good enough for next few years.
What about expansion plans in the outlets for your?
So we definitely are planning to expand. This year, our focus will be workshop first approach. So we will expand our workshop. We will also expand Audi Approved Plus outlets. New cars, we have 29 showrooms, which are, I think, good enough for the timing for next couple of years. Like production, we also have sufficient showrooms across the country. But what we need to expand is our workshop. We have 41 workshops. Maybe we'll take them to 45 this year. Also, our Approved Plus is 25. We will take them to 30. So that's the plan for expansion this year.
So from Audi Approved, how many cars do you expect to sell?
So we're not sharing exact number, though I've shared the numbers.
Yeah, the growth numbers, yeah.
But what we expect this year to further grow by another 40% over the numbers of 2023.
And what kind of customers are coming there? Are they like the first-time buyers also? For the
business, yes. We are first-time buyers.
But if we compare the Indian luxury car market right now, how far are we behind from the developed countries like maybe like Thailand and Singapore? Or
I think
when do we see
in terms of penetration, we are at about 1.1%. But I think most of the countries that you mentioned are in the range of 5 to 6% only. It's very difficult to predict because you have to see the per capita income of the country. Because in India, I think it's in the range of about $2,500 per capita. If you look at, let's say, Taiwan, it's above $30,000 per capita. So you have less population, but you have more earning per person. So obviously that also leads to more people buying luxury cars. So I think this is one of the topics as we continue to grow as an economy. I'm sure the luxury, the per capita income will also grow because that will also help us grow further.
But I think if more professionals and if they grow their salaries and this thing, I mean, young crowd, India has the youngest population, so we have still.
And we also have now a lot of families where husband and wife both are working. I mean, we are also, so the buying power is also improving. And, post-pandemic, people are not worried about too much savings, so they're also spending. So they want to experience the world. They're also would buy cars early in their lives, luxury cars.
But do you also see some competition from the premium car makers right now? Because like Hyundai or for example Kia with Carnival, they are getting into this 40 plus kind of even
There always will
even
be.
Toyota.
Absolutely. So whenever we define the segments, we always say non-luxury, luxury, this, that. But when the customer decides, customer is normally, his starting point is the price.
Right.
So there used to be a time when there were cars mostly in the range of 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs, 15
Right.
lakhs, and then there were luxury cars. But in between, there was a huge gap.
Yeah.
That gap is getting filled,
Yes.
right? So now there is an overlapping in every 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs.
Right.
But what we try to do is the segment which we are not able to address because of the price points, we're addressing that segment through Audi Pro Plus. And that's why you see this business growing. So like our price of our cars have gone up in last 5-6 years quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that means we are vacating some of the segment and somebody will occupy.
Yeah.
But we are trying to address this through pre-owned cars business, because we try to bring more customers through pre-owned, because there the price point starts, let's say 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs. So we also are present there.
Right.
Approved Plus.
Approved plus business.
So that's our play.
Because some people feel that, why should I buy an A4 which is like 50 lakh? Why not buy a bigger vehicle that which is
There are such.
spacious and like SUV?
So it depends upon, again, family needs, what kind of mobility you need, what kind of travel you need, how many people you're driven or you're self-driven, self-driving. So I think it's a combination of everybody has to play, and nobody is looking for 100% market share.
Right.
We will all play. We will play to our best to acquire as much as we
Yes,
can.
yes. And on the charging front, again, can you tell me like how many more charging infrastructure that you will be putting? And also, some of the third-party companies are already setting up those. Would that help you to grow your reach for EVs?
Absolutely. I believe there is no single player, whether it is manufacturer or charging infra companies, will be able to successfully put up. India is a large country, so everybody has to contribute. So we have done our bit. Firstly, we did put chargers at our dealerships, our group brand dealerships, but we realized that less customers want the charger in the cities, but more high-speed chargers are required. More intercity traveling is required. So we tied up with 5 charge point operators, and all those charge point operators are available to our customers on e-charge zone that we have created in My Audi application. So there are 1,000 plus chargers available. So we kind of bringing them together on one app. But we recently also installed one high-speed chargers in a business intense area, which is BKC in Mumbai, which is the strongest chargers in the country for cars, 450 kilowatts. So let's see how it goes. We are also testing the waters, what works, what is helping the customers more and more. So this, I think, experiment we will continue and see where do we need to invest, which we need to see how much the charger is being used, how much the investment is giving as a return to the customer for making their life easier. So whatever makes sense, we will continue to invest.
But do you think that putting more chargers or charging infrastructure on highway would make sense?
Absolutely. It makes sense mostly, and also high speed.
Yeah.
Not just 25 kilowatt.
Yeah.
But we need bigger chargers, 100 kilowatts plus. That's where you need quick refill.
Yeah.
Half an hour.
A tea break and half an hour.
Absolutely. 30 minutes, high speed charging. We need 100 kilowatts, 150 kilowatts. That's why we put in BKC. There is one gun that can also charge up to 360 kilowatts. So that is
like 10-15 minutes, 80%
refill.
100.
So for us, in one of our cars, I think it goes from 20 to 80 in 26 minutes.
Okay.
You need these kind of high speed chargers.
Yeah.
I mean, depends what. Sometimes the chargers are stronger, but the car cannot take that charge.
Right.
So you need also the combination.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Balvi.
Thank you, sir. It is always a pleasure.
Yeah.